All right, kids, pre-show rants of Izzo here on Spreely Media. If you're watching, watching on other platforms, awesome, whatever. It's kind of cool. Should be watching on the rantsofizzo.com or rantsofizzo.com. Spreely TV. It's Spreely.com. All things Spreely. Go to Spreely.com. You want to create a social media platform where you can say whatever you want? Spreely.com. You want to learn how to get money for sharing the show link? You're like, dude, I share your show link. I'm so supportive. Spreely.com. I don't know what the big fucking deal is. If you want to get anything else, I really don't care. Whatever. If you want to, like, man, how do I advertise with this awesome show? Spreely.com. Jeez, man. You want to hear other shows? Like, man, what is this Burn Pit podcast you keep talking about? Spreely.com. Mondays. All right. We're live in 2 minutes. I mean, we're live now, but we're not live, technically. It's a pre-show. You guys will see us whatever. And young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema. All right, we're coming up. Less than, exactly a minute. It is a happy Valentine's Day for all you sexy kids out there. All right, kids, let's do a show here. Spreely, all things Spreely Media. We love you. See you in a second or two. We're going live now. Yeah. I lied. You have to pause for a second.
Sit down, shut up, and pay attention.
Damn!
This is the Rants of Izzo Show with your host, Dominick Izzo, from porn to politics. We touch every third rail we can find. You might want to put your headphones on so your mom can't hear this. It's been called the most entertaining 60 minutes on the internet, and it starts now. Let's do this.
It was shown to me the other day that the Rants of Izzo show is getting all sorts of new love. So in honor of Valentine's Day, we're going to open with a little bit of love for all the new viewers and listeners out there who are new to the show. This is the Rants of Izzo show. We are an exclusive production here on Spreely Media. Spreely is speak freely, all things spoken freely. You want your free speech, your First Amendment honored, you got to come to Spreely. Spreely.com, simple as that. What are we? This is a stream of consciousness show. It just means that I don't do any show prep. And, whatever guests I have on, like who's driving in the big seat with me today, Scott Sieverts from the Burn Pit Podcast. How are you, buddy? Good to see you again. Who does join me every other Wednesday, but it would be between him and Maddie. We talk about everything. We just pull up topics and talk. We have conversations. It's as simple as that. We use swears on this show, so if you're sensitive, I don't care. And it's only meant to, you know what? You and I were going to talk about influencers, but I guess I want to cover this one too. I used to didn't watch Joe Rogan when he first came out because of how often he dropped the F-bombs. And then, I for the first probably 3 years of my show, I didn't swear at all. And then, yeah, I swear pretty decently on this this show. But like when people like Megyn Kelly like started using swear words and like she used to drop F-bombs on her like her podcast, I started saying to myself, I think there's a value in refraining from it and actually using timing on the power of the word. I don't know if you've noticed that lately, everybody. Everybody's trying so damn hard to be the shock value with their language. I don't. Am I lost on that one or no?
No, I don't think so, man. Again, hey, thanks for having me today. By the way,
yeah, it's your day. You're on the calendar. You're on the calendar.
I was listening to a PBD podcast on the way to the studio.
Oh, what were you listening to?
That's Patrick Bet David at the Valuetainment, and they're starting to throw some F-bombs in there too. I noticed that. I was like,
yeah,
I don't think I've heard them swear before.
What is the why do we do that? I don't understand whether we
a well-placed F-bomb is like an exclamation point. It gets the point across. If you use it all the time, then it loses its value.
I went to an Anthony Robbins seminar in 2009. I walked down hot coals, did all that kind of a fire walker. Great, it was a great seminar. It was great. And I learned about state changing, which I had been using. I didn't realize it. Like I had this thing that I didn't realize I did. Like before I heavy benched, I pound my chest like an ape, and then I go right into it. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been state changing all this time. So I learned what that was. I learned about acidic food versus alkaline food, all of this. But he swears in public, and I'm like, damn, man, he's got a point there. And again, he aligned with something I already knew, that like if as a cop I told you, hey, sir, would you please turn the car off and step out? And by like the fifth time, I don't tell you, or I tell you don't do it, but I go, hey, turn the fucking car off, get the fuck out of the car. It's like I told you the same thing, but with an exclamation point, and you actually did it, so you speak at the level of what somebody understands you. Well, there's no point in saving this topic. You and I, we're going to go over some stuff today. Definitely go over an interesting police shooting in a little bit. But before we came on, I want to play this audio. Do you know who Andy Elliott is?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
I like Andy Elliott, and I'm not singling him out. And I think one of the biggest things for people in a position to criticize others, because that's what 90% of like social media is now, is you do response videos to content that other people create. It's what so many people wind up doing, and it blows me away how we create almost nothing new. We just respond to people's shit. But Andy he put this video up today, and it rubbed me the wrong way. Now, I agree with his delivery and a lot of things. He's got the standard where he has guys take off his shirts, and if you don't have a six-pack, you're fired. And
I saw that clip. If you don't have a six-pack, you don't work for us.
I don't have a problem with that. That's a standard. You know what you're going into.
In a sales job. Yeah,
I have zero problem with that. It sets a standard. But this, for some strange reason, bothered me. The context is Andy tests your sales skills. If you're looking to level up, I'll show you how. DM me. I'm going to play this audio. He's sitting, and he's got a phone, and he's recording the audio, which I don't know. I would guess afterwards you have to ask for consent, because like in Illinois, it's a two-party state. You can't do this. But I'm just going to play this, and let's do it.
I was calling to get some information about a vehicle I saw on the website.
Okay, which vehicle?
Oh, we got an old fart on here.
Hello?
So how many miles are on it again?
67.6.
I think I'm going to look around for one with a little bit less miles.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for calling. Let me know if I can help.
Buddy, just like that, you're going to let me go?
You keep cutting in and out.
Well, I told you that I think it had a little bit too many miles. You heard that, right?
I did hear that.
Yeah, and then you said okay, and you were going to get off the phone. Were you going to go back and sit down and have a cup of coffee?
I was going to. Okay. Well, I apologize. I don't have one with less miles. Is there anything else that I can help with?
Let me ask you a question. Is this a sales prevention line? People that are order takers go work at Walmart, but people that can influence and persuade learn to close. They can get whatever dream they want in life. Okay, don't ever let me catch you being an order taker again, okay?
I appreciate you.
Okay,
I appreciate your input.
Okay, you bet. I want you to go get them. The next guy that calls, close him, okay?
No, he just fucking lost me on that one. He calls some guy who was not actively looking for his help, and he plays fucking guru for content, and he punches down, and he's condescending. It's like, dude, when Dan Pena first started coming out, I resonated with him huge, because as a guy who's approaching 50, that's the energy I grew up with. Right now, I wasn't in the military like you. We've talked about this, and I want your input. I thrived off of almost that berating, male, aggressive downpour of, get your fucking head out of your ass and bust it. As a near 50-year-old man, if I had Andy Elliott telling me this, I'm like, dude, okay, I get it. You like to sit there and talk about sales 24/7. If this was a normal conversation, and I'd be like, dude, does your wife do anal? But wait a second, you like talking about sales. I like talking about sex. What, are you insecure in the bedroom? So I can't stand what he did in this clip to make a point. Why is this the staple for gurus now? We think that Dan Pena came out, Goggins came out, Tate came out. Everybody thinks that this is the delivery method for today. Where did we go wrong? And this is now what masculine energy is.
It's a great topic. It's a great question, and we could probably talk about this for a while here. Going back to the fall of this society, we spoke about this on the last podcast with just the Me Too movement, the feminist movement, the villainization of masculinity. Young men today, and apparently even 30 and 40-year-old men, are hungry for this type of content because they never got it in their life. And like you just said, you brought up the military and how you were motivated by a guy like Dan Pena. And this type of thing with sales, this is right in your warehouse with the MLM and Dan Pena and him being a businessman, and the way he approaches conversations in business and people. He doesn't hold back. I think the military utilizes that type of training and that type of verbal, let's not call it abuse, but let's just call it, teaching, tutelage. It motivates young men. It also builds thick skin. You're in the military, or you're going through an academy, and your instructor, your drill sergeant, is on top of you and yelling in your face, and you have to maintain bearing. You have to be able to have that thick skin. You're going to hear him call your mother certain words. He's going to tell you, like they told us in boot camp, your girlfriend's at home probably banging. Who knows? And they just try and degrade you as much as possible. And you build thick skin. And I think there's an entire generation of young men today that look at a guy like an Andy Elliott. I mean, even your buddy Sean Whalen, he gets some clips because he gives life advice, huh? And, you see these guys get real popular because, they're fit, they're physically fit, they're well-groomed. This Andy Elliott, I'm looking at some of his work right now. I mean, he's a well-put-together guy, physically fit guy. And I think there's a young generation of men that didn't have some role models, or didn't have somebody there to show them the way, or didn't go through an academy or a boot camp, or didn't play football, didn't like you, Mr. Izzo. You were a wrestler, and I see the highlight videos you put up on Instagram. You were a stud, man. I see you doing the fireman's carry like it was nothing. It's a great video on your Instagram. You have you wrestling back in the day, but you go through those wrestling rooms, you go through those camps, those 3-a-days, you go through all that stuff, and it gives you confidence. And here, these guys, I think, almost like the Bejo Sculligan, the Andy Elliott's, all these guys, they almost prey on the feminization.
Oh God, I didn't see that angle. You're right. What appealed to me about Dan Pena was it was inner, right? A couple of different things. It was like Dan Pena's theme, his entry music is the Imperial March, and that's one of my favorite pieces of music on the fucking planet. Darth
You're
Vader's
a big
theme.
Star Wars guy,
dude. I'm a big Darth Vader guy, and
he's your favorite character in this.
Oh,
series?
absolutely. There's no question, because he goes from just he got changed because he was brokenhearted, ultimately destroyed, goes through what he believes is right, and then he returns to the light side after right at the end. But so he wasn't really the villain. He was just going through a lot of shit pain. Pena is black and white success. And he'll flat out tell you, like, cunt is one of my favorite words because it stands for can't understand normal thinking in my eyes. The condescension of these salesmen is what I can't stand, because they talk about influence, but it's manipulation. because what the two things that I'm not in alignment with are he's creating a bunch of people to get the sale no matter what. I have no problem with that, because if you owned a business and a car lot, would you not expect your car salesman produce? You know, we lost that, right? We lost that. Hey, this is the bottom line. So on that, I can't argue with him because he's 100% get the job done. You know, that's how it is. But the biggest problem I have is he's gearing towards two type of men. This is where the Wes Watsons, Andy Elliott's, all these guys out there, Sean Whalen's, what they're marketing towards is either the younger kid, right? The 18, 19, 20-something-year-old who has no life experience. If a 20-something-year-old salesperson talked to you the way that Wes Watson does or Andy Elliott does, would you react, or would you just be like, get the fuck out of here?
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah,
because they have no life experience. They don't know how to actually to relate to another human being. The worst of the worst is they're relating to the guys who are in their 40s, 50s. Wife maybe left them. They're fat. They're this. They're that. They're out of shape. They want to find that, and they're going to reinvent themselves. The sad thing is the percentage of men who will actually grab life by the balls by the time they get to our age is A, it's too late. B, you should be ashamed of yourself if you need another man like Andy Elliott or Wes Watson to get your head out of your ass. So one of the worst things I can't stand about MLM is you recruit people, and instead of doing the job, they nonstop want to sob to you. It's like with personal trainers, right? Personal trainers' clients, they go to them to complain about their day all day long instead of doing the work. So I can't fault these guys who are unbelievably successful on social media. They may themselves be fantastic, superior salespersons, the epitome of fitness, but they're marketing towards kids who have no commonality when it comes down to relating to other human beings, especially older men, or older men who are so damn lost. The game's over, dude, and you should be ashamed of yourself for needing another man like this for this, especially in a public setting.
Right. Well, we talked a little bit off air. I'll express my frustration in this area as a military guy. You see a lot of these boot camps popping up. There's one in particular that, and I'm not throwing any shade at this gentleman, seems to be very successful, and he runs a 75-hour boot camp called the Night Project. His name is Bedros Keuilian, and people pay in the upwards of $14,000 for a 75-hour experience that mimics the Marine Corps Crucible. He has guys that are former U.S. Marines. He has guys that are former Navy SEALs that are his instructors. And these gentlemen that sign up for his camps or his classes, they sell out pretty quickly, and you can drop out. You don't even if you don't graduate the course, you still are paying this money. You don't get a refund in it. But they put you through this military training. It's I guess you get to network with these guys afterwards, these instructors that have, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram and TikTok and all this other stuff. And I'm just jealous because $14,000 is what I made my first year in the Marine Corps as a private.
But that's sales.
And now these guys are willing to pay that for 75 hours for somebody to yell at you, and you crawling through mud, and you're doing the ice bath thing, and you're running with the logs, and they're putting you through these legitimate exercises or training methods that SEALs and Marines use. But my God, I'm jealous. If you see this clip for whatever reason you see this.
Yeah, what's his name? Pedro what?
Bedros.
Oh, Bedros or Pedros?
Bedros with a B. Bedros Keuilian.
Oh yeah, I've seen him for years.
Look, the guy's wildly successful. Good for him. I'm just saying, I'm jealous that there are men out there willing to pay $14,000.
The problem here's the problem is they scratch the surface on everything. Now it's not their responsibility. You want to pay somebody $14,000 to have a grown man yell at you, carry a log, do whatever. That's great. These guys are geniuses for marketing this. What it does is you get that instant dopamine, right? Where we know that if you go through a grueling workout, your mind is at a different level. And most of the time, you can't push yourself to an intense level. there is energy. Like I would venture to say that you could squat, deadlift, or bench press X amount of weight, but if you're in a room full of 50, 100 to 1,000 people screaming and encouraging you with that energy, you're going to move more weight. So there is an inherent male need to have competition from other men, mentorship and guidance and leadership from other men. So yeah, if you're having another man, like believing in you and screaming at you, you're going to achieve. You're going to hit it. You're going to be like, oh my God, I never believed I could run 5 miles with the 75,000 pack bag on my back and this and that. But that is temporary, because at that point, as a 40-something-year-old guy, 50-something-year-old guy who is not put in the self-discipline to do it day after day after day. That's why I do not believe, to my knowledge, Dave Goggins does any of these. He just puts his stuff out there and then you do it. I don't see Goggins running. Goggins, if he ran camps like this, he'd be disgustingly rich.
He'd make a fortune as a former Navy SEAL, and what he's doing now, especially him and Cam Hanes is another one. There's a bunch of guys that if they wanted to do this, they could make a killing. But hey, out of curiosity, as Sean Whalen, he still have you blocked?
Of course he has me blocked. Yeah, Sean Whalen's another one who it is what it is. I cannot stand, like, I'm not the guru, and I don't like it. I'm an expert in some fields, which is great. You want to come to me to learn how to, fight with combatives? Great, I'll teach you how to do it, but I'm not going to teach you how to improve your life from it. Sales, I will teach you exactly how to sell. I will teach you how to learn to listen, to when to talk, when to shut your mouth, when to handle objections, how to handle objections. But I'm not going to teach you to improve your life skills on that. And maybe that's what I got from that, right? Because with wrestling never taught me team sport. I was an extremely introverted kid, and at 12 years old, my mother flat out said, pick a sport, because she was tired of me just being a loner. So I thought, I'm going to shut her up and I'm going to pick wrestling, because there's no way in hell she's going to let me do it. So, and I know I've told you this story before. I go in, I go to St. Viator High School before the year before. So I was in 8th grade, and I get baptized into the sport of a grown coach yelling at me, swearing at me, grabbing me by the scalp of hair, pulling my hair up to keep my head and neck straight during a takedown. Like, what is this? And through my time in wrestling, I learned more about tenacity and how when you're on your back, like the reason why I think wrestling is harder than jiu-jitsu is you can get choked out in jiu-jitsu, but when you're on your back being pinned in a position of submission by another male in front of a group of people, it's fucking embarrassing. It's like a dog. It's when you hold your dog down and you're like, I'm the boss. So wrestling taught me the individual. I never had a team for that. So I will never give, Scott Sieverts all my skills and then be like, Scott, you could change your life. This, that. No, I'll give you exactly what you ask for, but the rest is up to you. And we sadly lack discipline in our society. And these men, I hope that people don't pay them thinking they're going to get that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they expect to get out of these courses. They think they're going to hobnob with some of these guys and be able to network with them, and they're constantly going to be in contact. That's probably not going to be the case once they take your money and you go through the course and they have a nice banquet and dinner afterwards. But there's nothing like the day-to-day of putting in consistent work, discipline, like you said, experiencing some of the things that you've experienced. There's that nothing teaches you like life experience, and people have to go out and get off their asses and go and do it and try their hands at certain things, fail and this, and then go and try and keep trying. I mean, I'm sure you experience a lot of failure in MLM.
Every day, every single day. And it is ridiculous because it's the simplest shit in the planet. You do the same 4 things every fucking day, but the rejection rate is insane. It's sales. That's all it is.
People don't like hearing the word no. That happens too. I mean, I'm in the bar business, and one of the hardest jobs is like a cocktail waiter or a cocktail waitress. After kitchen closes, no food, you have to go table to table and basically sell yourself. Hey, can I get you guys a drink? How about some shots? You guys, we got this, and you have to keep selling. You have to be okay with hearing the word no and just keep going. And that's everything in life, really. I mean, don't let anything stop you. But these guys, sometimes, what's the other guy? Wes? Like, he's the guy that
Wes
got
Watson, got out of prison. And that was the other thing is, I don't know where, and maybe I take a little bit of insult to that. I don't know where this prison culture was so fucking glorified. You served, have you ever, it's personal, you have to answer it up. Have you ever been arrested?
Yeah, I did. We talked. I was on a great podcast with you. You have a podcast called Become More.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're my first
and I ended up getting into a situation with a gentleman in here in Pittsburgh where he was yelling out of the window, calling me, cunt, pussy, faggot, all this stuff. So at the time, I'm 25 years old. I get out of my car. It's like 3-4 o'clock. It's traffic. If you're familiar with the Pittsburgh area, it's around Monroeville, Miracle Mile Shopping Center. It is rush hour traffic, and he's about 3 or 4 cars in front of me. I got out of my car. I took my shirt off. I chased him down. I dragged him out of his car, and I, beat the snot out of the guy. And then, of course, the cars around me were all getting out of their car. No one intervened, by the way. No one tried to stop, but they're all calling the police. They were saying it was just an unfortunate situation where I lost my cool. Well, the police arrived. They, handcuffed me, charged me, took me to the Allegheny County Jail. They ended up setting a bond. I got charged with assault. Ended up not paying the bond. I just sat in the county jail for a few months, and then had a hearing. Got a good lawyer. Had a hearing, and ended up getting it dropped down to just a simple misconduct charge.
Are you proud of that moment?
No. Well, I look back at that and think, man, what a lack of self-discipline, self-control that I had as a young man in my mid-20s, and it's followed me too. I mean, I actually, Dominic, took a test here for the Allegheny County Police. Thousands of guys take it. It's every 3 years it comes up here for the county, and I did really well. I scored with my military service, I scored like a 93. Ended up being 32 out of like 1,400 guys that took the test. But when I sat in front of the board, once they did the background check, and there's 5 board members that I sat in front of, and that came up in there. And here that happened in 2007 or 8, and this was I think 2019 when I sat in front of the board here to try and get a job as a police officer, and they questioned 11 years after the fact, a decade had passed, if I ever got into a situation where I was physical with a citizen, and it was a high-profile type of news story, the press would see, well, why would you hire this guy? He had this in his background. He was a loose cannon back then. Zebra doesn't change its stripes type of thing. That's what they said. Their words, not mine. But it follows you. That was a momentary lapse of judgment where I let my ego get the best of me.
Yeah, but you ever think about it?
I can promise you this: that gentleman probably never yelled out of his car ever again.
Sure, you modified somebody's behavior. But think about this for a second. All you have to do is change your branding and feature that and talk about and just focus on whatever length of time you spent in county. And you could probably 10X as whatever his name is, Grant Cardone would say. You could tell. That's what everybody wants now is your time in prison gives you more credibility. It's like with me. I went the opposite direction as my culture. I can't stand mafia shit. I have a very big love-hate relationship with it. I love the movies.
You're Italian.
I can't stand. Like my uncle. The story is my uncle, who's 78 or 79 now, is so pissed because he wasn't sponsored. Like my great uncle Jimmy refused to fucking sponsor him, so he never got to be a guy, a made guy, all this shit. So we have that in my family, and it's like it creeps me out as a kid. My mother had run-ins with like Sam Giancana. She would tell us stories about this, and I'm like, I don't care, and that doesn't do anything for me. But out here, you got people who have Goodfellas posters up in their rooms.
I love The Sopranos.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I'm gonna tell you flat out, I didn't even enjoy that shit. My culture, I do. There's tenets of it. I'm not gonna lie, but the glorification of people who extort and ruin their own people. The fact that we are elevating social media influencers who've been to prison and then that's their persona, like how hard they are. It's like, no, motherfucker, let me tell you something. You know what was hard? Doing the right thing, paying my taxes, not breaking the speed limit, not fucking knocking the guy out who pissed me off in traffic, not fucking going after somebody I was dating, slashing her tires or doing something. It's like they're not selling drugs. I was in the bar industry too before I became a cop. 4 a.m. bar. In my day, it was ecstasy and Liquid G were huge, and shit. You could have easily had a hookup and sold that. So the hard route was actually towing the line that people think is boring. So I don't know why we have that. It's like that and these other influencers who think that it's all you got to do is say, fuck you, you're a useless loser, pay me 14 grand, and I'm going to make a man out of you. I don't get why that's where we're at today.
I don't get it either, man. The society glorifies these guys that years ago they would not have been your hero in society. It would not have been your father's hero or your grandfather's hero. We glorify, man. You make a great point. We glorify that prison culture. It's astounding to me to see that. I feel embarrassed to tell people that I spent time in the county. In fact, not a lot of people know this about me. I've mentioned it on a podcast, but I actually was in the brig when I was in the Marine Corps too, for kind of the same reason. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. I got a job off base and at a bar. I was obsessed with at 18, 19, 20. Just, I wanted to be a bouncer. I wanted to be a tough guy. That's why I joined the Marine Corps. Obviously, the influence of my brother too. But I found my time during the week. I was a range coach. I was a primary marksmanship instructor. So I'd spend 1 week in the classroom, and the next week we'd be on the range qualifying Marines. So I had the weekends free. So I was like, you know what? I'll make some extra scratch. I'll get a job off base. The problem is, in a foreign country like that, Marines have gotten into trouble in Okinawa. There's stories out there where you get into a fight with a local. Now you have the Japanese police involved with the military police. It's a tough thing. So they really don't want. They set up a system called the Liberty Buddy system, where they want Marines that are E1 through E3 going off base with another guy, so that you hold each other accountable with your behavior, which really didn't work. But here I get a job off base, bouncing at a nightclub, and also you don't know who's coming in that place. Right outside that bar was Gate 2 of Kadena Air Force Base. So there's an Air Force Base right there, and there's like 3 or 4 Marine Corps bases right there in Okinawa. So people that are frequenting that bar are military members, but everyone's in civilian attire, not wearing your camouflage utilities out to go drink on a Friday and Saturday night. So here I toss a couple people out, and Monday morning I'm teaching a class, and sitting in front of me is a first lieutenant with a black eye, and I'm like, shit. And here I am, a lance corporal, and then the next thing you know, I give MPI, military police investigation, knocking on my barracks room, and I end up getting charged with some assault, Article 128 abuse. This is for my military friends here. Article 128 of the UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice, assault. And then at the time, too, there was a order on base that said you couldn't get a job in a foreign country as a military member. So
I don't know why.
Article 92, which is disobeying a direct order. So I got charged with those, and I ended up doing some time in the break. But I did not get, people always ask me this, what was your discharge? You got dishonorable discharge. People don't know there's 5 types of discharges. There's honorable, there's general under honorable condition, which was saved mostly for if you had a training exercise and you couldn't be physically fit to continue your service, or at the time we had the don't ask, don't tell policy in, where I wasn't going to ask if you're gay, even though all signs point to that. And I'm not going to tell you if you're, that's don't ask, don't tell. So, but if you come out and you end up being gay, you bring your boyfriend around the barracks and you end up getting thrown out, it's a general under honorable conditions. Then there's a general under other than honorable conditions. Then there's a bad conduct discharge, and then there's dishonorable. The people always ask me, but no, I do have a general under honorable conditions discharged, in part thanks to my older brother.
Dude, we've all got stories. I'm a fired cop who had to go get reinstated, so it doesn't bother me. I just don't understand. I don't understand why our culture is obsessed and so focused on the criminal element and this. We seek this degrading, berating conduct and guidance from grown men that you should have got from your own fucking father.
Why
I
do you
mean,
think
my dad never raised me like that. My dad was, he just went to work, set an example. I was telling my aunt the other day, because we went to her house and I got there before my dad, and I'm like, in 49 years, I've heard him yell twice. Both times have been at my sister. And both times, I mean, the last time I was 15 years old, I went, oh, shit, I'm good. Because when he yelled, I'm like, oh, fuck. Because he never did. So he was a big guy. He was 6'1", bare paw hands. You got me, who's, shorter. And when he erupted, But he never swore at us, never talked down at us. But you just knew him and my mom you didn't screw around with. So I don't get why it's almost like a masochistic. We need somebody yelling at us, and we need, here's a guy who went to prison. He's so hardcore. I'm going to pay him money how to get my You can't relate to him. You can't relate to him.
You're talking about the Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly, but carry a big stick. And that's not around anymore. Everyone's the loud chihuahua. Even though I know you have like 4 dogs, right?
Yeah, dude. One's a I think it's like half chihuahua mix. Yeah. I became a small dog guy, dude. I really did.
My sister-in-law and brother-in-law, Bryce Mitchell, the UFC fighter, they got a French bulldog. They love it.
Like, Bryce is a great example. Does he go around like this Sean Strickland who's going around lately? Yeah, he's entertaining. Not my speed, dude. I mean, that's I get it. That's like Floyd Mayweather. That's like Floyd Mayweather Jr. It's like what's his name, Conor McGregor. I get that for entertainment purpose. It's almost like it's like Muhammad Ali. It's for entertainment, but I mean, it's the guys who I don't mind. I'm loud. But I'm not. I am a counter puncher. So if you like, my troll comments prove it. I will not say shit to you unless you say shit to me first. I just don't get this whole. Like that Andy Elliott. Oh, well, we got an old fart in the phone here. Well, dude? Is that the image you want to show? You're fucking. You look down on other people. So I don't know. Maybe that's the public servant in me that I just will never get rid of.
I hear you, man.
All right.
I hear you. Yeah, Bryce isn't much of a shit talker. He goes out there and
does his shit, man.
Yeah, he fights. He gets his shit done, and he has opinions when it comes to. Politics, and he'll let you know about that. He's been on Tucker Carlson. He's, made it known how he feels about the attack on farmers and the farming industry and the Department of Agriculture. And how about this, man? On the website of the Department of Agriculture, their mission statement, and this is totally off topic, but I saw this other day, I'm like, this can't be true. It's 100% true. Their mission statement is to combat climate change. The Department
Not
of
feed the world,
Agriculture.
yeah. No. Oh, fuck. All right, let's talk about this for a second because you sent this my way. I think it's good because you obviously have tactical skills. So do I. This is new body camera footage shows Okaloosa County, Florida Deputy Jesse Hernandez declaring shots fired, I'm hit, and shooting at the handcuffed armed subject inside of his police car. He had not been shot. Rather, it was determined that he heard an acorn drop onto the car. Let's key this up for those watching. And Scott, I'll pull this up for you too, so you can take a look and we can break some stuff down. And let's enjoy this clip together.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! I'm hit!
He's hit.
Mm-hmm. What? In the car! I was shot through the car! Oh! I'm good. I feel weird, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. don't know. I might have hit my vest.
All right, I want to jump ahead here for a second because there's something else you sent me. I wanted to see. As I'm queuing that up, can you kind of give the viewing audience, the listening audience,
Yeah, of
what
course.
did they see?
It would be a pleasure for you here. So what happened is this police officer is on the passenger side of his vehicle when a acorn falls from a tree and hits the roof of the vehicle. And he thinks that it was a shot from the person that's in the person that's arrested in the car. And so he got on his back there. He said, shots fired, shots fired. He got on his back and he unloaded a magazine into the rear end of the police vehicle.
Right.
And then he says, I'm hit. And he crawls across the street to a driveway and hides behind a car.
Can you see my mouse here? Can you see the mouse on this?
Yes.
That would be this car over here. I believe
Right.
he's hiding behind, right?
Right. Yep.
So this is what you sent me that I want to play. That number one, I want to say this, that apparently the information going around is that officer was suffering from PTSD, and he was a service member and he had PTSD issues. So again, who we're putting on our street. Now that personally is no fucking laughing matter. And that also is a reason to show that our vets do not get the help that they need. Especially if you're going to be on the street like that. How do I say this one? Well, here's just another shining example about how women maybe shouldn't be police officers. This is the female deputy that is on scene with him. Oh, this is no. Never mind. Wrong guy. I gotta go to Mike's stuff. Never mind. Let me pull up. You didn't see this one.
No, I did not.
Oh.
I didn't see, the clip that I sent you was what you're
Yeah,
playing
that's
now.
the one we just played. No, I'm sorry. No, where the hell is he? That's not the
Right.
guy. Oh, I gotta find this. Hang on a second.
So his partner Beth Roberts also opened fire on the vehicle.
Yes, that's what I'm looking.
after Hernandez yelled shots fired and said he had been struck by gunfire. The handcuffed suspect inside the car, Marquise Jackson, was not struck by any of the bullets. The windows were shattering on me the whole time as bullets continued flying across me, Jackson wrote on a Facebook post February 7th. I was blessed not to get hit by any bullets or get hurt physically, but mentally I am not okay. I haven't been the same since. Well, that's going to be a lawsuit.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously. That's going to be. They're going to be suing people. Well, the county.
Here's the video of his partner, who she is taking notes, like with a subject on scene, like they probably cuffed and took into custody the person they were looking into, and then they're taking witness statements. And then here's what we got.
What? Where, right there?
You just unloads the magazine. That's it.
Fucking
How about that?
where? Right there? And then she starts to just spray the shit out of everything. Now, Scott, for those who don't know, can you kind of break down, are there any, like I can think of 4 immediate rules of like handgun. Let me know if I'm missing anything. Number 1, keep your finger off the trigger. All guns are always loaded. Never point your gun at any target. Never point it at a target you don't intend to destroy. And then we used to end with keep your fucking finger off the fucking trigger.
Good stuff there. It's treat, never keep.
Okay.
Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point your weapon at anything you don't intend to shoot. Treat, never keep. Keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire, which Matty Wack will definitely disagree with me on that. And then keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you're ready to fire.
Okay. Let's go through this again. And let's see if we notice anything about this one.
What? Where, right there?
She's still got the paperwork in her hand too.
Yeah.
As she's going to, for so much for more meat on the pistol, if you will.
Jesse!
She backs up as she's firing, and has no fucking clue what she's shooting at.
There's no awareness there. There's no awareness where she doesn't even momentarily for a split second stop and assess where the target would be.
Nothing. And this is broad daylight.
Are you okay?
Now she's going through people's driveways, properties.
Get back. Where is he?
Hiding behind a vehicle as well.
Where is he? So far, we've heard that I guess no charges were filed. I don't know if any cop was terminated or not.
What do you think of an appropriate outcome here for these police officers?
Termination and charging. To be 100% honest, you have a police officer who went through training, went through the academy. Your village needs to be held accountable because you pass them along with the standard of they know the basic knowledge of shit. And if it comes to firearms training, at the very, very least, what are you shooting at? So you have a police officer who shot, I don't know how many rounds, 10 at nothing. Yeah. And again, are the person doing the pistol or long gun shooting, are they responsible for every round that goes down range?
Yes, 100%. I mean, well, they're shooting at the vehicle that's paid for.
Well, yes. Go ahead.
But yeah, they are responsible for those rounds that are in there. That when they make a decision on when to pull that trigger, you at least take a minute there from both of them. Now, if the guy is suffering from PTSD, we don't know the details, so we're not trying to be insensitive.
And that's horrible. Like that. That's horrible.
But at the same time, an acorn.
Well, no, I can picture the acorn. I thought it fell on the car and hit, but that doesn't even make a lot of noise. Falls on him, great. Did you notice when he first started shooting, he was aimed not only at the guy in the back seat, but the other cop. She was downrange.
She was downrange, 100%. Yes. This whole thing, I watched this. You know who sent this to me? It was Matty Wack. Matty Wack sends me this, and I said, this can't be, this is serious? This is real? When did this happen? I looked it up, and I'm thinking, this has got to be embarrassing for these two officers.
You're a taxpayer. Does it bother you at all that these cops are still on your streets? And I'm talking about any town in America. The quality of police officer that is on our streets is insanely low. The standard is so fucking low. It's disgusting.
Yeah, of course. It's embarrassing. And I don't know what the remedy is for this because me personally, I think I know a lot of police officers in the bar industry dealing with details and things like that. And most of the guys I work with, I like them a lot. And I think there's a lot of good ones. So this isn't, this is not throwing any shade here at the law enforcement community, but something's got to happen. The answer certainly isn't defund the police, but now what happened here in 2020 with the George Floyd and the BLM riots, it really painted police officers with the Derek Chauvin thing in a light where who wanted to be a police officer after that? And who does anymore? That occupation has been vilified and it has been looked at where if you're a man or a woman, the recruitment numbers, I guarantee you are down. People taking tests, people signing up to do this job, I guarantee you are horribly down. So who's going to want to be a police officer after this? So you're not getting the best and the brightest here signing up. You're getting people that obviously need a career, want a good paycheck with the benefits and all that. But what's a typical academy? 6 months?
No, 3 for me. Dude, 3. When I first took my first test, I took 2 tests. One, I took the test and I got hired 4 weeks after I took it first shot. But 2 weeks later, I took another test just to have an insurance, right? And I was offered a job, but I chose the first department I took at. I was number 3 on the list. 34 people showed up to the test. 34, right? It's like nobody, and that was 2001. Shit, what else did you? I went to I always say this a million times. I went to a 3-month academy. I was on probation for 12 months.
You said your sister went to a
barber school,
hair beauty school for how long?
11 months, Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day. And that's a license.
beauty school versus here's a firearm.
Right.
And
Right.
pepper spray.
Right. Yeah.
Unreal. Man. It's embarrassing. If you're those officers, you're right now, and that's going to keep on going viral, that video. You're the laughing stock. Well, I don't know if they've replaced the girl that banged all the dudes in her unit or whatever, but they're now currently the laughing stock of the law enforcement community. If more details come out, I will certainly offer an apology to saying laughing stock, especially if the guy has PTSD. But viewing this just off of face value here, what you're looking at is two. I mean,
well, you have to think about that too. How many cops now get in shootouts and other cops just shoot for the sake of doing it? I know Chicago's an epidemic for it. I hate saying it. Chicago's got some of the worst fucking police out there. God, you ever want to get hit by a car in Chicago, go walking past a CPD squad. To answer your question, who wants to do the job now? Think about it. If those numbers need to get filled and you've got a grudge and you're like, man, the bullies and the assholes are going to be the ones who go and take the job now because nobody's taking it. And then you're going to deal with some real sadistic megalomaniacs who are worse than normal cops on the job doing shit. And even worse. All right, we're roll call today. We have to go to 123 Main Street today. Mr. Sieverts was outside mowing his lawn today, and it looked like he was wearing an American Pride shirt. So we know he's got firearms and military training, and the neighbors called in complaining. So we're going to go over there and seize his guns for his safety. Yes, sir.
Red flag.
Red flag, 100%.
What you're talking about, Dominic, is red flag laws. And the very first red flag law that was ever issued was in the state of Maryland. Guy was 60-plus years old. They came, they tried to get his guns, and they shot him. That was the first ever red flag law issue that was issued, and they shot the guy dead. He did nothing. Not charged with one crime, not suspected of any crimes. That's what happened.
And what happened to the police and the police department?
That I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. I don't think that those gentlemen may have been held accountable. I don't think so, though. This is a story that Matt and I have visited a few times. Matt knows it very well. I've read about it too. I'm not sure. I don't want to say anything that's incorrect there, but that's. I mean, who you're dealing with is people that will take a paycheck and their pension over the Constitution.
Do we have that? You and I first talked about that well over a year ago. The military's becoming like that too, where you have, I mean, who is that? It was an open lesbian who was on her TikTok talking about if a war ever came here, she's like, you're the enemy. If I tell you to go back in your house, you're the enemy. It's like, what? Excuse me? What? I have no faith in our public service or our military a lot of times.
And that's a fair criticism, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I didn't mean, this is kind of off topic, Dominic, but I didn't mean to ask you. You did not catch the Super Bowl, you said?
No, because unlike people like Graham Allen, who said they're never paying their taxes again publicly, or Stu Peters, and we need to see if they're going to. I said years ago with Colin Kaepernick that I was never going to watch the NFL again. I lied. There may have been a time where I was at somebody's house and the NFL was on the background while I was in the kitchen eating. That's the closest I've watched to an NFL football game since.
That doesn't count. But you know what happened Sunday while the world was watching the Super Bowl?
No.
The Senate passed a $95 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. While we're all watching the Super Bowl, the Senate,
the Taylor Swift show,
will go to the House, but that's what happened. $95 billion. Then we're sending another $60 billion to Ukraine if it passes in the House, another 14 to Israel, and another 9 to Taiwan. How do you like that?
I don't get it, and that's the stress of you can't do anything about it, right? It's like, I can go to my village hall meetings and listen to what their proposed budget's going for. Oh, you want to put a new playground over at Main and Park? Oh, that's awesome. Okay, great. Redo the water fountains. But when it comes down to this, you have, and I can't even say it, right? Don't send any more of my money to Ukraine. Well, how do I know it's my money? Like, where does it really affect me, right? And the issue is that they'll tell you this, and I'm guilty of it. So just like you just told me, $95 billion, awesome. Well, I don't know how that works. And I don't know the minutia of it, where you're going to show me, okay, over time, your food's going to go up, your gas prices are going to go, whatever it is. They're going to do whatever. I don't take the time to do that, but I get instantly outraged by sitting there saying, why do we have a lying, traitorous, disgusting Congress, Senate, presidency, and we are allowing these people to do it. Why are we not? I'm sorry, I know nothing else to say. Why have we not flooded the White House lawn and protested like crazy over this?
Remember, they can do whatever they want.
Yes, because we let them.
They're physically stopped. And that is the truth. And that's with anything in life. Unfortunately, and what we do on our show, The Burn Pit, every Monday, 4 o'clock, Freely TV, download the Freedom Hub app, right to your phone or smart devices, type Freedom Hub into the App Store. We promote resistance to tyranny. That's right. And anytime you say that, the first thing people go is, oh, you're promoting violence. No, we promote self-defense by implementation of the Second Amendment. So that's what we're promoting, and we're promoting it on a local level, organized at a local level. Go down to your care about that. Like Dominic said, that story you told last time to Matt last Wednesday, that you went in there and you were seeing what's going on at the council meeting. And other than you, everybody else is there. They're there because they work there. There's no citizens that showed up to see what's going on or how their local tax money is being spent or what's going on here, what they're passing. But what you would have to do, obviously, is go in there with a list of constitutional deprivations and violations and say this stops today. And if it doesn't, we're going to. Yeah,
we're going to what? What are we going to do? That's the punchline, right? You can go up and you can go and do your 4 minutes of public comment speaking time, if it's even that anymore. I think it's like 2 or 3. And then, all right, you're violating law, code, whatever. Okay, thank you, Mr. Izzo. Thank you for your time. Then what? Go up to your police chief who's sitting there saying, I'm going to file a complaint. I want them arrested. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So what are
most recently, and we've used this example time and time again, the Bundy Ranch. If people want to look into that story, you had 3,000 armed militia members come down from Washington, Oregon, Northern California to Nevada, where this guy's ranch was. They had a standoff that lasted months with the ATF and the feds, and the feds and the ATF went home. You had 3,000 militia members pointing firearms at their head, and they said, this isn't worth it. So that's what you would need to do on a local level. Get 100,
do you remember they were vilified? Well, when did that happen? In the 90s?
Oh, 2014. It was
was it?
Obama.
Oh, shit.
They hear it was over a controlled like brush fire. You know, Trump's talked about that all the time in California. If you don't do controlled burns, the brush will get out of control, and then you have these huge fires out in California. Well, this gentleman was going and doing these controlled burns, but it was on government property.
Oh, the BLM.
But it's the Bundy Ranch situation. You look it up, you'll see that there were large militia groups across the West Coast. I didn't even know this, that there are militias in Oregon, there are militias in Washington, there's militias in Northern California. There was 3,000 militia members that showed up to support this guy and his son. And what they had was a show of force. And that was enough for the ATF and the feds to say, all right, well.
Yeah, but we saw what happens now. And people I've seen some more footage that kind of make me a little bit irritated how Joe Biggs handled it. But you saw now, if you do any of that and you do not take it seriously, you wind up 18 years in federal prison. They proved January 6th, man, that was get the fuck in line. And that really showed Americans how that's going to work. I remember them vilifying like crazy the Bundy Ranch. And I didn't hear anything about it at the time other than what the news told me. And as a cop, where I went to, a bunch of citizens disobeying the law. That's where my mind went, right? So, yeah, I don't know what the solution is, because I see no end of this in sight, and it's only about to get real worse, because I don't know who needs to hear this. Trump is not going to get reelected. He's just not.
You don't think? No,
I don't. I think that they're not going to let him. I do not. I think that he could have 100% of the popular vote, and they would still find a way to screw him over. They're not going to let him. And it's I don't know. I think we're fucked. I really do. I want to be 100% wrong.
You think Biden is still the guy come November?
Nope, I don't. I think that I think they will do. I don't think it's going to be Michelle Obama and Newsom, but I think it'll be Harris Newsom.
Oh. So, and you think Harris is at the top of the ticket?
I think that well, shit. Can you imagine the outrage of the very same community they want if they put a white man over a black female, a faux black female?
She's from it's Indian and Jamaican or something, right? Anyways, yeah.
Yep. That's ridiculous. We're all screwed, dude. I don't fucking know.
She's a black like Liz Warren's Native American. Or
Nikki Haley apparently is.
Yeah, apparently. I didn't know that. I mean, she was governor of South Carolina for all that time, and who knew she was a woman of color?
She's something. I don't know.
Running for president.
Until it's convenient is what it is.
It's a great card to play, man, isn't it?
Hey, you know what? I'm Italian, so we've all seen True Romance. That means that I'm half black. I mean, I don't know. Let's look at the size of my ass, and it proves that one. All right, guys, the Burn Pit Podcast is Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern or Central?
That's Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern on Spreely. Go ahead and download the Spreely app or go to Spreely.com and check everything out there as well, too. Next week, Maddie's going to be in the studio with us to do some more yelling and screaming, and somebody's going to, the government, he's got to be on somebody's government list, and I don't think he cares. All right,
there's
guys.
no question he's on a watch list.
You can't be that smart and not be. It's so stupid. I think it's a badge of honor at this point. All right, guys, have a great Valentine's Day. Go show somebody your butthole. It's as simple as that. And a lot of you guys are going to be all like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. Shut up. It's a Hallmark holiday that you guys perverted from what a priest did out of an act of love for other people, or what Al Capone had people executed for. Anyways, all right, that's it, guys. Have a great damn day. Go help somebody. If you can't help them, don't hurt them. That's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Rants of Izzo here on Spreely.
Love this show.